Internet, your friendly neighborhood gremlin here, and today we're gonna give Tank a place where he can play tabletop games with his friends. And I think we succeed. I think it's pretty cute. We end up with an upstairs and a downstairs. Technically, I did do outside. I forgot to unhit pause, and so we don't have that. And I didn't really have time in the video to sort of show you around. So, essentially, you'll just see the little snippet of it in the outro, and that'll be the extent of your outside knowledge. Don't worry, it's not like it's super great or anything. So you aren't really missing much, I promise. And our color scheme is pretty much what you would expect. I do wish it was darker, but I couldn't turn the lights down anymore without it being like actually dark. I wish there was just like a grayer light. Does that make sense? Probably not. And so while doing this, I sort of wanted to do like tabletop games rather than like board games, by which I mean more like D&D or Warhammer and that sort of stuff, rather than like Clue or Monopoly. Technically, it's what he asked for. I don't know that it makes a huge difference, but that's what we went with, and somehow it was important for me to tell you. And though you won't really be able to tell now, because it's going to be a minute before it happens, but what I'm trying to set up on the table there is like a D&D thing. Like you have the one thing and you can imagine, I don't know, maybe they've got a board or you've got the dungeon master who's got like maps and stuff. And then we're just going to use a homework set to be sort of like, the paper you need when you play D&D. You can mark down your skills and things you have in your inventory and money and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know that it successfully reads that way, but do know that's what we were going for. But because this one ended up as kind of a longer video, I don't actually know how that happens. Like, it's not a purposeful choice. Somehow, sometimes they just come out longer, I guess. I didn't really have time to scrub through and cut out all the like really tiny sort of maybe pauses and stuff, because we are a little bit short on time. Instead of doing the video first, I went to the grocery store this morning because it's supposed to be really snowy this afternoon, and I didn't want to have to walk in that. So it may not have been the right choice, because this morning the sort of paths weren't plowed. Let me tell you, walking through calf-high snow is a workout, and then I ended up having to take the sort of main streets back instead, which I don't love to do, but whatever, it's over now. Sorry, what I was trying to say pre-tangent is that I thought we could talk about my sort of favorite D&D playing experience. Admittedly, I only played in college because I don't know people, so it's not something I can do now. I meant to sort of like join an online thing, but I mean to do a lot of things. But my character was like a rogue. She was really tiny, and then I rolled like a huge strength stat, and then our weapon of choice was throwing knives, because, that's the kind of thing people use. And I suppose, as you can guess, if you're not new here, she gets real weird. Like, we end up with a giant demon skull that we use as a boat. We collected people's heads. She didn't cut anybody's head off herself, at least like while they were alive. It wasn't like just going around beheading people. But she liked skulls, so, we took those. We had a wonderful, like, fur coat that we got from some dwarf, maybe, that we met in the forest, and that was kind of fun. She also ended up with a fear of opening doors. It was a giant rat attack kind of thing. We're using the model kits as, like, board game kind of things, because we don't have any board games in boxes. So, the model kits are pretending to be those. And this wonderful rug, which is maybe my favorite bit. I don't know. This room just ends up kind of good overall in general. I really like it. And here we're just putting more things on the walls because they felt really empty and it didn't feel like a good thing. Don't you think a lion head would fit just like perfectly in that little hole? I mean, obviously it doesn't because Animal Crossing. Like, in a perfect world. Do any of y'all play any tabletop games? Let me know down below. Let me know about your favorite character you've played, or some sort of crazy absurd shit that happened while playing. Or, it could be fun. We could sort all the Animal Crossing people into, like, character alignment things. Obviously, indisputably, Tom Nook is, like, lawful evil. Because, look at that man. But I don't know, really, about any of the other ones. That's the kind of thing I'd have to think about. Don't really have time to think about it at the moment. So, let me know what you think. Isabel, Lottie, Chip, Flick. Is his name Chip? Is Chip his dad? What the fuck is that beaver's name? CJ. His name is CJ. But, like, legally it stands for Chip Jr., so I wasn't entirely wrong. Anyway, we're just kind of trying to figure out what we want to do. I'm going to end up with this sort of layout here, which means the kitchen doesn't have a lot of space, because somehow it needed a bookshelf. I can't really explain the bookshelf. It may have been better with chairs. The corner cutout was also very important for some unknowable reason. I do feel kind of bad that he doesn't get a fridge, but there was no way to put a fridge in unless, I guess, if we turned it sideways. No, I do think I'd have to make the room like at least 8 wide. I also really wish that these bottle crates were slightly darker red. I guess they're gonna match the toaster, because we put the toaster in there for more red. It is kind of an alarming red, but it was also, I don't know, it was important that it was red, somehow. And I do really enjoy the retro music player. It is a little bit of a pain in the ass later when we're trying to put more things in the build so it looks fuller, but it's not an item I use very often, and he seemed really impressed with it, so it got to stay. But our skulls have made a return. I do think I may have cut out me trying to use the skull carpet downstairs, but that was a thing we did, and now up here we've got a skull rug. We can call it homage to my tiny baby rogue. Though I mean really it was entirely unrelated. I just thought Hank seemed like the kind of guy who would have skulls. I do end up like just reusing a lot of the items we use downstairs, mostly because for the theme there isn't a lot of things in Animal Crossing. At least I didn't come across a lot of things that sort of felt like they fit. So I don't know, just like pretend they're new things, maybe. And then of course the walls are the hardest part of this whole build. Mostly just because trying to put things in that are sort of like dark enough that they fit. We end up with the Loch Ness Monster, though the colors against the dark walls felt kind of alarming and not really what I wanted. Just have like a turn the saturation down tool. That would be nice. And when we don't know what we're doing, we just fall back on the things that I like the most. So we've got bug heads and the fossil poster. I really do hate this clock. I love the idea of the clock. It doesn't come in any good colors, and also it's gigantic. Why is it that big? But it just kind of matched thematically, probably. And again, it was big. It took up a lot of the wall, which, you know, was a positive. Oh, and then we used the aluminum rug in the kitchen. I don't really know why that was a thing we needed to do, but it was a thing we needed to do. And this is where the outside footage should be. But my dumbass went to all the trouble to find the pause button in OBS. To like change settings for it to show up apparently. Only for me to forget to unhit the pause button. You know, good times. But you're really not missing much. The best part of outside is Godzilla, which I added mostly just because I'm gonna have to take him off my island. But while I was sitting here thinking about that, I think maybe he could be a dragon on the island. We could do like the paper bag princess. Or just like have a dragon to have a dragon. Anyway, if you liked the video, or you just had a good time hanging out with me, you could hit that like button. And leave me a comment down below. Let me know about your D&D experiences, or your alignment, or Isabel's alignment. Literally anything at all. And of course, if you think you might like to do this again sometime, you could hit that subscribe button. But I will see y'all on Saturday. Bye!